I've been racking my brain trying to come up with a good game to compare Monster Prom to, but the only one I managed to come up with is that Monster Prom, a multiplayer dating sim, is similar to Mario Party. But that's still not a good analogy because Monster Prom can have multiple winners and multiple losers, and you can choose to either help each other or screw each other over, while in Mario Party you're all fighting over one goal, the stars, and Jerry keeps taking all the stars. Screw you, Jerry! And I'm not about to compare it to the Mario Party where all the characters were in the car, because that one sucked. I guess this is a good thing, because if I can't think of another game to compare Monster Prom to, maybe that means the game did something original. I could say that Monster Prom is like your real life high school or college days, but of course that's subjective to your personal experiences. But honestly, who hasn't been in a situation where you've been trying to be cool in front of that friend you want to bang, only to have your other friend, who also wanted to bang that particular person, decide that getting their dick wet was more important than your friendship? You know what? Yeah, that's perfect. Monster Prom is like your teenage years. Or at least mine. Maybe I'm just projecting. Monster Prom is a multiplayer dating sim with a pretty simple concept. You have 3 weeks to woo one of 6 fellow classmates into becoming your prom date. As the name implies, all the students are monsters, and let me tell you, this game's got it all. Werewolves, merfolk, demons, ghosts, vampires, and even gorgons. And of course, for the playable characters, you have the zombie, the Frankenstein girl, the specter, and the Gaijin? Is it just Jin? Hang on.
Jin.
I guess it's just Jin. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Now that we know what Monster Prom is, let's ask the real question, is it any good? Let me start by saying, yes, I believe it is. A little anticlimactic, I know, but instead of me giving the game an arbitrary score at the end of the video, let's establish that I think it is a good game, and let me defend my case by explaining why it's good. Dating sims aren't the biggest club in gaming nowadays, so we need to focus on what makes this dating sim stand out from the rest. The base game is simple enough. The days are broken into sections, morning, lunch, and evening. You pick where in the school you'd like to go, bathroom, library, classroom, etc., and each one boosts a specific stat on your character sheet. After you pick your location, you have an interaction with fellow students and are given choices to make depending on the current situation. And while there is no wrong choice, each choice is connected to one specific character, giving you brownie points for that character. But if you don't have the right stats, then you get penalized for that choice and actually lose stats in the process. So say you want to do something that's particularly charming, but you don't have enough charm, then that choice becomes the wrong choice because you didn't have the stats for it. But the game won't tell you that that choice requires charm, you just kind of have to figure it out yourself. Beyond that, of course, is the aforementioned theme of everyone being monsters, as well as the game's very cartoonish, vibrant, and stylized art style that is not only eye-catching, but unique enough looking to make everything stand out. Thank you, Arthur TN, for doing the art for this game. I enjoy your work. The second standout fact is that the game seems to go a little overboard with how crazy they portray their students. Seriously, they had to age up all the students to be 18 plus, just in case. Monster Prom doesn't really make any of the characters mysterious, as they all have very specific tropes to their personalities that's focused on, such as jock, party girl, entrepreneur? Is that a trope? Regardless, the game is also not above having the party girl student doing meth in the middle of the cafeteria, and maybe this is just my experience with the American public school system talking, but it's honestly one of the more honest and open portrayals of public school life. I mean that half as a joke, but really, public schools are pretty crazy. One time in high school, I watched a guy get maced in the hallway by one of his ex-girlfriends. And let me tell you, after you spray mace in a hallway, it becomes a lingering cloud of fuck everybody in this area, and it sucks. But I digress. The third thing is, while being able to be played as a single-player game, Monster Prom is designed as a multiplayer experience. Up to 4 people, all following the same singular story plot. And while there are 6 main love interests, this does leave plenty of, pardon my joke here, fish in the sea. I'm sorry. But even if you divvy up all the potential love interests equally, the game will still give you opportunities to either help each other or screw each other over, and this of course leads to hilarious situations or friend ruining moments. Nothing's better than your friend leaning over and cock-blocking you just for fun, or beaver damming you depending on the situation. It's a real term, look it up. Lastly, and probably most importantly, is the amount of secrets this game has. Not only do each of the 6 main love interests have multiple secret endings tied to them, but there are also secret characters and secret subplots, some of which involve you going to prom with no one. And at the end of every game session, the game rubs it in your face by showing you the mass amount of scenarios possible and how much you haven't seen. So completionists beware, if you haven't completed this game yet, the game will not hesitate to remind you of how much you have missing. To summarize, Monster Prom is a fresh take on the dating sim style that is easy to get into and easy to pull people who might not usually like dating sims. Giving it that party-style aspect opens up the doors to many other types of gamers and friend interactions. Single player is a fun experience on its own, but I will say that this is best when played with a 4-player scenario. Granted, you actually have some friends and you're not just sitting in your mom's basement staring at a picture of your 2D waifu. And you know what? If that is the case, there's always Honey Pop.